All right. Welcome, everybody. As always, we'll be starting with some slides to lead us into the recognition of open intelligence and practicing together. And then we will be happy to answer any questions you might have. We would love to hear how your practice is going for you.
What is open intelligence? So when we just stop thinking for a moment, relax body and mind, what remains? There's a clarity, openness, power to know, and alertness. It's spacious open intelligence. It's what's looking, just naturally present. And we don't really need to stop the thoughts because they appear again. Naturally so, they are countless. They are unpredictable, and the same open intelligence is equally present with the thoughts and without the thoughts. So it's present throughout. And that's what we are gaining confidence in and what we are gaining familiarity with. This open intelligence always present. So when we will access what's looking, what's sensing, what's seeing, then we discover open intelligence and love and wisdom. So we will access what's looking. Open intelligence obviously has gone unnoticed. So if the recognition of open intelligence slips away, we simply repeat it again. And that's the power and the focus on the short moments of open intelligence that we repeat many times so that we become more and more confident in open intelligence. So it leads to confidence in open intelligence. So the recognition, just a short moment of open intelligence throughout our day. We repeat it again and again, just right now. You can take a short moment of open intelligence, what's looking. It doesn't have to feel or look a certain way. It simply is taking a short moment, relaxing body and mind. Just its natural state, its natural way of being. So in each moment of open intelligence subsumes our old way of thinking, feeling, sensing, experiencing in a continuous expanse of lucidity. So we recognize that it's not about having any kind of certain experience. It's all of the experiences are subsumed, the dynamic energy of open intelligence. So that is a relief because we don't need to chase or try to change our experience. We can simply rest for short moments and take short moments for open intelligence throughout any moment of the day and night. So yes. Okay, and then, well, that is sometimes easier to practice when nothing is much going on during our day or when we're in nature and when there are very strong, challenging, and afflictive states. So the very important point to make about afflictive states is for us to not reject what is appearing. To not reject with afflictive states means that when they come up, we rely on open intelligence rather than acting on them or wanting them to go away. So that's the power of a short moment with more difficult data. We say data to all the thoughts, emotions, experiences, anything. So rather than trying to get rid of what we're feeling right now, we take a short moment of open intelligence, simply. Ultimately, that is letting everything be as it is, as the energy of open intelligence. But that naturally happens with a short moment, with an instinctive short moment of open intelligence. We let the energy, the data, be as it is. Yeah,
regardless of what comes up, maintain open intelligence because, in fact, open intelligence is all that is coming up anyway. Yeah, that's a good one. Um, we can we can recognize the space in and through which everything arises instead of getting distracted about all the things that arise, no matter what it is that arises. So we can practice in the moment anger arises. We can practice in the moment that we give somebody a hug. We can practice while looking out and seeing the rose bush in front of the house. Every appearance appears within the basic space of awareness of open intelligence. So no matter what it is that comes up, it for sure comes up in open intelligence and nowhere else. So we can practice with whatever it is that arises. And the four mainstays remind us to be gentle with ourselves and to rely on resting naturally and on resting deeply in the powers of great benefit. The four mainstays are really, you could say, the support system, the support structure, so that we don't have to practice on our own. Being here in the meetup is one way of relying on the four mainstays, where all the four mainstays are coming together. There's the teaching of open intelligence, which we're just sharing. We can practice one short moment at a time while we're together. Katya and I are here as teachers, and we all together are the community, and those four are the four mainstays. By the power of a short moment of open intelligence, we directly experience freedom from ups and downs. We begin to have a balanced view. We rest naturally as open intelligence for short moments many times. Short moments of open intelligence is soothing, and constant emphasis on data is uncomfortable. Yeah, that's a great way to summarize it. Um, the the freedom from ups and downs doesn't really mean that we don't have thoughts and emotions anymore that used to be connected to experiencing the ups and downs. So, uh, you might still feel sad. You will still feel sad. Being experiencing sadness, grief, and all kinds of other emotions is part of the human experience. But we can, instead of being uncomfortable in that experience, we can have the soothing energy of open intelligence and experience the freedom within the experience as life unfolds, however it will. So that's the difference there. It's not freedom from experience, it's freedom within the experience. We rest free and relaxed. We rest deeply in the powers of great benefit. We let open intelligence rest naturally, potent and free from the need to control the flow of data. By getting accustomed to this, our recognition of open intelligence becomes stabilized, able to remain steady. So the crystal ball is one of the metaphors that you'll see probably in almost every meetup here. um, you probably only see the slide now, but I'm also holding a crystal ball here. And for those who see the video as well, you can see how the image in the crystal ball keeps changing depending on what it reflects. But the crystal ball itself never changes. So we relax as the crystal ball-like nature of mind. Let the images be whatever they are as we rest naturally in that indestructible essence, the crystal ball-like nature of mind. And that last sentence there, by getting accustomed to this, our recognition of open intelligence becomes stabilized, able to remain steady. There's a key distinction in that. You'll notice that it's not open intelligence that becomes stable because that already is stable. Our recognition of it is what stabilizes through practice. So, in a short moment, we're not helping open intelligence to become more stable. We are becoming accustomed to recognizing what is already inherently stable. It's already within us, already stable within us. All we do is acknowledge it, recognize it. And in that way, the recognition stabilizes itself.
Yeah, we rest in open intelligence for short moments, repeated many times. And the short moments grow longer. And that's all these aspects that open up when we take short moments throughout our day, that the short moments grow naturally longer without contriving anything. It becomes stable in itself. There's more and more confidence that open intelligence is naturally present, and it's just simply naturally present instinctively without thinking about it. So, and all we need to do is take a short moment of open intelligence without making it into some kind of state or something we are looking for. So, yeah, so by relying on short moments of open intelligence becomes increasingly obvious. At the very moment data form, the thoughts, emotions, and experiences, we rely on open intelligence, powerful, spacious, open intelligence. That is a short moment of open intelligence. It's acknowledged. We're not making open intelligence, just simply acknowledge that that is like so. And what happens is that our power and energy become grounded in open intelligence rather than in data, rather than in any experience of something. It's grounded in the instinctive recognition. And even though that is it's very simple, it's not always easy to recognize and take short moments. And especially when the data feel more challenging and they have stories around, like with anger or grief and in relationships. And so, but we allow the natural ease of open intelligence to gradually permeate all our daily activities, even when feeling pressured, when we're trying and struggling. Even struggling or trying to take short moments or trying to rest as open intelligence. With us to continue taking short moments, we rely on open intelligence at all times, whether we are walking, moving, lying down, working, playing, or sitting. This is how open intelligence becomes more and more obvious. And then we gain confidence in open intelligence. Yeah, so the repeated many times, we hear that today, that's like the repetition of open intelligence. It becomes more automatic and becomes stable in itself. And any act of forcing the recognition of open intelligence is unnecessary. So any forcing or contrivance of what open intelligence is, or the instinctive recognition, it does happen. So like countless times trying to figure out what is open intelligence and see if my experience is the correct one. But ultimately, the quantity is far more important than any quality of the experience because uh, it's not really an experience, and it's just recognizing that there's open intelligence that is looking and just instinctively more and more obvious. It's like a habit of training our mind that has been focused on all the experiences and descriptions to rest relaxed, free, and open. And so when we plant these open intelligence seeds, these short moments, an unending field of open intelligence will grow. But if we plant data naming seeds, even experiences, descriptions, data, a ceaseless field of data will grow. So it's in the simplicity of that. And yeah, and this was mentioned earlier, just when short moments feel difficult. We can practice short moments when it's easy. Obviously, when it's difficult, we can take short moments, but then have the other mainstays like the media, like books, reading paragraph of the book, listening to talks, coming to meetups like these to have. Then we don't even need to take short moments. We can simply be here, and we will recognize that short moments and open intelligence become more and more obvious without doing anything. Some people just say, "I will just show up," and that that works. And obviously, here are some who are doing the 12 empowerments, which is also a body of text that evokes open intelligence with reflections on one's own direct experience, and that all is there to just confirm open intelligence and make and evoke open intelligence in one's own experience. Yeah. So the four mainstays are a support, like was shared. So it's a bit easier that we don't think we have to like get the short moments in the right way. Great. I mean, here's another overview of what yeah, the training media and text and the community and the text and the short moments are all part of the formations. Yeah, I think I'll leave it here for now so we can have some shares. Great. So let's see if there's anyone who'd like to share today about your practice, about doing the 12 empowerments, where you're at, or any questions as well. Yes, Charles, great.
Well, thank you. Thank you for this meeting and the shares. Mine is more of a question.
Yes.
From my experience, um, since we have five senses, and the five senses in which we use to experience the world we live in, and open intelligence, which to me is without sense itself. It doesn't have my understanding of it, my experience of it is just a clear awareness of what's happening within the sense world in which we live in. Um, the idea of how that open intelligence brings balance into the sense world rather than allow the mind to, uh, how would you say, make sense of the world through its limited understanding, you might say. I love open intelligence because it's not looking at situations to understand the situation in which it appears to be occurring in. And when you get to open intelligence, it's like, oh, there's no understanding. It just is. And this is what drew me here to this point. I've been drawn to other ways of seeing it. Infinite intelligence was another form I used versus finite intelligence. Um, there's the wholeness versus that which is fragmented. So I've studied different parts of how people experience it from different ways. And the simplicity of this really, when I was listening to her on the YouTube videos, the simplicity of her words really rang very clear to me that a young child could understand in such simplicity. Wasn't a theology per se where you have to go and learn from university. So I thank you for your
Mm.
shares and for this time to share in. I'm complete. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So that's beautiful. And yeah, the instinctive recognition of that simplicity is very magnetizing. And yeah, that awareness or open intelligence. Often we have ideas about awareness. We might have also ideas about open intelligence, obviously, but it was very obvious you have an instinctive recognition there of open intelligence, and that's the simplicity of that. And we don't even need to be aware of something or make sense of something, of all the experiences, because everything as it is the energy of open intelligence. That's why we call it data. That actually gives another instinctive recognition that everything appears as data, the dynamic energy of open intelligence. So there's an instinctive recognition of the equalness and evenness of all data. At the same time, it's never an extreme, obviously, and this would be the deepening of open intelligence, where then one sees everything clearly with great clarity, but knows the nature of everything. But it's great. We don't need to be aware of something, even though in the beginning it might feel like that. But awareness and open intelligence is just what it is. There's no one but at the same time we are not denying that we are here, each of us. So because that would also be an extreme somehow. So it's like it's very simple in that way. It's nice how you said it's like a child, because it's so natural for children too. They just are, and it's just the wonder and of life. But it's just being. Yeah, yeah. So it's beautiful. The inseparability is a powerful insight, recognition that I felt was very key for me, trying to figure it out initially when we met the teaching uh, some time ago. It was actually 20 years ago when we went to India, and then trying to calm the mind or be aware, and then recognizing that simplicity of open intelligence in all experiences. And then that was just a relief, not needing to meditate in a certain way. Meditation can still be very beautiful at the same time. It's not trying to achieve something there, because every short moment is ultimately a meditation without meditating. It's like relaxing in the ease of being. Yeah. Great. Let's see if there are other questions or shares. Or is there anything Jochen, you wanted to say? Ah, yeah.
I'm
Good.
fine, thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
okay.
that. Thanks for
Great.
the feedback.
Thank you, Charles. Nice to meet you. Yes, Bob, and then Yuri.
Ever since I began the 12 empowerments, and I'm up to number 7 now,
Mm.
it became quite apparent to me that this, like you said earlier, it's simple but not easy. But the simplicity of this was astounding, and I realized in studying the 12 empowerments that it brought it out to me even more. How that doesn't take away from the fact that it's profound. It doesn't have to be complicated to be profound. And so it seems to me that we live in a culture now that wants things to be more complicated in order for them to be uh, real. I mean, it seems to me, I don't know if anyone agrees with that, but and consequently, I've told a number of people about this and gave them different things to watch and led them to different things, and none of them, which is fine, they're on their own journey, but it it's interesting how they're too busy. People, I've got so many things to do in my life and all kinds of reasons. Um, and my grandson, who's 25, he even he said, "Wow, this really seems quite interesting, and it's what I really could, use in my life now." And but it hasn't happened. But as I said, it's their journey. I'm not I'm not trying to become a recruiter for open intelligence, but at this point in time, I see how much it's done. I told the gal yesterday, um, it's helped it's helped me change my life. It's helped change my life by not being concerned about things I was concerned and and observing how I respond to things that used to get me, a little frazzled. And the other thing is that just it's like I'm so much more. I wasn't like a tense person, but I'm so much more relaxed in allowing things to just transpire the way they will transpire. So, yeah. And one other thing, which is interesting, as a chiropractor, um, we were always, this was kind of weird because I never really thought about it until a few days ago. Um, they talked about innate intelligence. That was very interesting that the body, of course, with being a chiropractor and when they instructed us in school, the body was very, very important. Well, it is on a certain level, sure. Especially when we have discomforts, like that lady shared last time with the nausea. Um, but it's interesting that they used innate intelligence, and it was, but they never. And the founding chiropractor was Daniel David Palmer, and but it was never developed. That not that innate intelligence is the same as open intelligence, but but they had such a beautiful look upon how things are, uh,
Mm.
you know, th- like that. It's beautiful. Anyway, that's my sharing for today.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, yeah, for sharing. I see how you instinctively recognize the wisdom there.
Yeah,
That's nice. Thank you. And great to hear the benefits of going through the empowerments. Nice.
yeah.
And you, Yuri, yes.
Hi.
Hello.
What I wanted to ask is, I think there might be a tendency to, when challenges come, like anger comes, to over practice and to try to recognize like every minute or I don't know, something like that. Um, so maybe you can say something about that.
And what happens then for you when that,
When I practice a lot,
yeah.
it can definitely, yeah, yes. Sometimes I feel like if I would not do it, it would be more forcing myself not to do it, I guess. So it feels more natural. And well, like the past days I've been practicing a lot, and it has already changed so much.
Hmm.
It's really very yeah, unbelievable. Um, Like I'm even calling people that I haven't spoken a long time and stuff like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of power has revealed itself. And then when the anger comes back, then of course I like to get back into that seeing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but overall, I don't know. I feel a lot of yeah, a lot of power, a lot of
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
goodness, I think, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's great and mm, powerful, and you feel the power. And your initial question of if one can over practice, it sounds like even though it feels like you're taking many short moments and it's a main focus right now, just to see everything, right? Take short moments. This will, after some time, just be more natural. I can remember how I felt like, oh, I'm taking every second a short moment and as many as possible. But it was a bit of a joke also because it's like impossible to just always think of short moments, obviously. But actually, what more counts is what you're seeing, the effects, and also the short moments. They will actually naturally just be obvious, more stable in itself. So it's
Yeah.
great to do how you're doing it. When we feel we get tense and try to get in a short moment and feel, then we
Yeah,
can
just
relax some more.
experiment.
Yeah,
And
just experiment. Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, in an instinctive recognition, it sounds like you're really going through all the empowerments there. It has starts with one's own, seeing that we don't react in the same way that we might open to relationships and just feel more at ease, touching in with others. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, you've gone through the empowerment, right?
I've done one empowerment and then I backed
Okay.
out because I followed this other teacher who taught me about short moments
All right.
15 years ago already. And there's actually another question I wanted to ask about that because I'm starting to, doubt him or his living of it. Like he teaches it, but does he also live it? Is the question. When he teaches it, he says really like, just take short moments. And apart from that, whatever happens in the movie, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. If you feel to do this or that, you just do it. And it feels a bit, and it might be also where it doesn't work when you see certain things coming or attractions, maybe some wariness is still important also while you are practicing.
Mm.
Um, because just diving fully into it and then, oh, I'm taking short moments, so using it as an excuse to, I don't know, just
Well,
be.
this is a very good question and insight. Without commenting now on the other teacher, looking at your own experience, I think you're recognizing something that is powerful. Then that is that open intelligence, instinctive recognition isn't really a license to do whatever we want. That is also an extreme. And when you did empowerment one, so that's great. So you see actually what data does, right? What any datum, even about open intelligence, if we think that we can do whatever we want. And it's also datum. Yeah, and the further empowerments actually, I don't know if you're planning to go through them, but
Yeah, I want to go back into it. Yeah.
yeah, then you will actually get a clear answer of that because it will show that there is in the instinctive recognition, ultimately, obviously, everything is open intelligence, no matter what we're doing, right? We're making decisions, we're making choices, we act. But then when you said we are wary, what actually happens is that we have wisdom and clarity of how to act, when we have lots of, like you mentioned, desire, and then we don't just act on everything, or we have a lot of anger. We don't act that out, go with everything. We just think and feel and act, because that would be, I mean, that's probably the chaos that we know in our lives. When we just break it down into our lives, we know how it is when we just act on all our feelings and thoughts. But there's also wisdom. All emotions are wisdom. So that rests in itself in a short moment, becomes more and more obvious. Yeah, so you could instinctively recognize that without even now going into whether the teacher is teaching that or not, but find it in your own experience and understand it, and you're already seeing it instinctively, because open intelligence is naturally beneficial, not as an idea, but spontaneously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also not even pleasant to go with everything or something like that. Even to have that free card, it wouldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a great insight too, right? It's just another data, really, if you make it into something. But the realization is there that everything is equal and even, but it still one doesn't do and just do whatever one wants.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Was there another? Oh yeah, Charles, I think you had another hand up there.
Thank you. I just didn't want to be a hog for time.
That's
I
fine.
love to hear from everyone. But he
Yes.
brought up something very deep inside of me is the power of choice. Choice is come into your own knowing, come into your own experience. And I've come to realize that I can't live off of somebody else's knowing. And that to me is theory and not personal experience. And open intelligence loves the knowing that it shares. It's the individual expression of that knowing. And coming to knowing to live in that openness, which is also intelligence, is to realize choice is the intelligence it shares with us of its knowing, which is far vaster than any knowing that I could come up with in my limited understanding down here. So those moments of clarity comes from that open intelligence. And that way I am tapped in, tuned into that knowing aspect from within and not from somebody else's experience or teachings. So when you share from your own personal knowing, I love how you answer, you asked him, what is your knowing of this? What is your experience of this? To me, that is just a beautiful way of bringing them back into their choice, their truth. And it's just very empowering. I just want to acknowledge that and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Beautiful. And I see Melanie, yes. Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Oh,
Hear me?
your internet is maybe a little bit interrupted right now, but let's see.
Let me see if I can
Maybe without your video, even we can't see you anyway right now. Now we can see you.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yes, perfect. Now it works, I think.
Okay, all right. Yes, so good morning, and happy to be here and hear other people's sharings. I wanted to share also, I am in the first empowerment, and an insight that I had yesterday was that I'd been curious about, like, I guess, whether I would know when it's time to, like, have completion with the empowerment, because the teaching is so potent, as you had described. I felt like, oh, I just want to listen to and read this teaching, and will I feel like it's time to move on? And I had that experience yesterday where I was like, oh yes, I do feel a movement, so it's time to do my responses and complete and move on to the next one. So that was just a lovely recognition of the, like, like the inherent wisdom of the process itself, and that I can recognize that and move with that flow. So that is very beautiful. And then I also wanted to share, we're talking about emotions, and Yuri, you mentioned about anger and practicing a lot when an emotion is intense is what I was, for my part, what I was hearing. And that does happen for me. Like when I noticed this morning, I had a lot of irritability and other intense emotions, and I found myself like kind of bracing and being like, okay, I'm taking short moments, but it's like this. And then I remembered, oh, it could just rest. That's just rest as the just resting as the irritability, as the whatever it is. And that is just absolutely huge for me. Um, and yeah, and so the irritability just, I don't know, I just eventually forgot about it. So that's the sort of beautiful way that I've had this experience before, but with the empowerments and with this teaching, it's like I have a really reliable way to, like, just a simple invitation, rest is best, that the simplicity of that helps me to remember it when the waters are white water rapids of emotion or experience. Okay, just relax as this. And yeah, I think that's my sharing. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Very beautiful. Paul, yes. And then Joy.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
I completed the 12 empowerments and have started back over, and I'm on the this morning spent my time reading the last paragraphs of empowerment 2, and I was just absolutely moved to tears at the profundity, the depth of it. One of the things that I thought about, I love the 2-word term that Candace talks about, unerring instruction. We have the blessing of unerring instruction. And this was a great sample of it. I hope it's okay to read it, a part of it. Everything is only the display of the pure benefit. Everything, all inclusive, everything is only the display of the pure benefit, which in the final analysis is the only nature of data. No datum can be found to have a nature independent of pure benefit, just as no datum is independent of space. Open intelligence shines forth a unified display of its own dynamic energy, appearing as the spontaneously self-releasing here and now. I don't know. It may not have much weight to read it right now, but to sit and spend some time weighing those words one at a time and letting them move you, it was something. So anyway, I hope everyone here is enjoying the empowerments, because they really were profound. I've been around this for about a year now, I guess, and I spent a lot of time bouncing in and out, and then I began to pay more attention, and then I took on the empowerments, and they were absolutely and are absolutely uh, uh, unerring instruction that is life-changing. So thank you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for reading and for sharing, especially. That's very touching. Thank you. And I see Joel.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. It's so nice to be in a group of people who are committed to resting. Oh my goodness. So I wanted to say thanks to Charles and Kathy's follow-up about trying to make sense or trying to figure something out. I've been listening to Candace and I did the empowerments, and it's been 3 or 4 years, and it's just been like riding this blissful wave of I just never thought I could experience life like this. And about 3 months ago, and I met someone and fell deeply in love. And then suddenly, 3 months ago, we broke up. And I realized during this meeting that I've been using the old ways of anecdotal figuring out. I've been indulging, I've been avoiding, I've been trying to replace it. And I thought I lost open intelligence. I've been so in and out of it, lost the consistency. And I realized that there's no figuring it out. There's no way that I could put together this billion piece puzzle of why my relationship doesn't work. Oh my gosh. And I had that return of the promise of the peace of my open intelligence come back when I realized what I've been doing and that I don't have to do that anymore. And just the overwhelming compassion I feel for not only myself, but other people going through this. And I've been through breakups before. And I almost feel like I'm taking on the heartbreak of all human beings. And of course, that feels so indulgent as well. But why not? I've heard Candace talk about that. Why not go for it? But I haven't just rested in it and let it rip and come up. I'm always playing with it, trying to be engaged with it. I promise myself I'm going to stop, and I'm trying to figure it out, like make sense of it. And there is no making sense of it. That's the dead end. And I realized that, like, I can stop. And so thank you. I've been exhausted and I felt very bereft of what I originally found. I thought it was gone forever. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you. And also I have a question. Does this meet more than just once a week? It's the only email I get for these meetups. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing so openly, and that's very powerful. And yes, for now, this is at the moment the meetup, but there are other clarity calls, and also if you have done the 12 empowerments, there are ways of just keeping in touch, which we could be in touch about with you. But very beautiful, powerful share, and this really shows how how the gaining confidence, there's never a destination, right? But it deepens and deepens. And even if life brings sometimes these hard, very challenging times, sometimes we think we've lost open intelligence. I know this in my experience of these past, 20 years. But what actually happens is and this was really obvious in your share too, a deepening of this openness and compassion, and actually where suffering and no suffering come together, but it is like where there's so much more compassion and feeling for everyone and oneself also. It might feel like, oh, where's open intelligence? But actually then afterwards, I always feel like, wow, this has deepened my experience profoundly, and in a humble and open and deep way connected me with all beings also. Yeah, just feeling like, what do beings, we all go through these times in life, losing someone, where there's the experience of suffering, grief, and it's and how the practice, and for mainstays, right, coming together here was just so supportive. One is immediately recognizing open intelligence, and especially even if we have done the empowerments already and over some time, there's a deepening of confidence. So thank you for sharing. And This is, I don't know, Jochen, if you wanted to share something there.
Yeah, that was really beautiful, Joel. Thank you for sharing. Happy to be in touch about more meetings as well with you if you like. And I just want to share that I think, after the introduction, the main purpose of the empowerments is what you could call the integration of this recognition into all aspects of life. So that, because in theory, of course, like, for people like us here, where this clicks instinctively, like the theory is clear quite quickly, so to speak. But then to actually experience this and embody it in our day-to-day life is quite another thing. And that's where the four mainstays come in. And also in the newsletter this week, simple but not always easy. It is really as simple as rest as open intelligence. But if our entire system says, I can't rest, I need to fix this, change this, have this be different, then I can rest. And then we think, and I love that visual you gave us before there in your share, like, I'm resting. And when I'm resting enough, then this will go away and I won't feel that pain. So I'm resting harder. And, I did this intensely right after the empowerments. I felt I've had these, probably everybody goes through that. I always called it like mini depressions, and that I had on and off in my life. And after the empowerments, like pretty much with empowerment 12, it started to come, and I didn't want it. I wanted to stay in the bliss of open intelligence. And so I practiced more and more, hoping, of course, my head knew this isn't about not having this, but everything else about me wanted this to go away and stay in the bliss. And to that question also from the very beginning today, my over practicing was just trying to use the practice to push away the pain I felt ultimately. And the integration, like from an experiential perspective for me, really was to really pull down that guard, allow that guard, the shield, the armor to drop, and recognize it's okay. It's okay to feel this fully when I rest as this spacious, open intelligence. So the two terms that came to mind as I was hearing you and also what Kati was sharing is that the distinction maybe between pain and suffering. Like I can feel that emotional pain of things, or physical pain for that matter, but I don't have to suffer with it. And there's almost a weird, strange, unknown sweetness to it, where I can feel like in loss, I can feel profound love. I I miss the person and I love them so much that the missing feels unbearable. But when I really allow myself to feel that fully, it's just sweet love. Yeah, and then the description might again be, I don't like this. It doesn't mean that I suddenly, accept it. And I think that's another thing that we've heard that so many times that we will accept things, but we don't want to like accept things. If we think there are things that don't feel good, we don't want to accept it. And that's why just resting and for a moment allowing ourselves to feel and to really like embody this moment fully and notice it's safe. We're okay ultimately. And in that, so often, rather than not, it then does dissipate. So paradoxically, what I tried by resting harder, it happens as I rest. But when I make that the goal of my resting practice, it doesn't happen. So it's ironic and sometimes humorous to catch ourselves in these moments when we try and practice something away. but then recognizing the natural presence of open intelligence as that very thing that we're trying to avoid. That's what the natural presence of open intelligence is in that moment. There is no other open intelligence other than the one as this very tender, heartbreaking, but really heart opening moment. Yeah. So kudos to you for finding that in that moment and coming back to that. That's really beautiful.
I'm trying to find raise my hand. I'm like Natalie. Go ahead, Natalie. After Natalie, I would love to share a comment.
Yes, not okay.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, but there we have habitual tendency, habits, and sometimes we have, or I will speak for myself, I haven't revisited yet this area, for example, for tendency, on the light of open intelligence. And so here I can find myself kind of going back into these old patterns, but then with a short moment, so this it's getting outshone. So, but otherwise, it's not that having had a wonderful recognition of open intelligence, everything everywhere is totally clear in all the areas of my life. It can pop up and again like popcorns, but thanks to the practice, then it releases and kind of is cleaned away or cleared away. Is that so?
Yes, but what do you see in your experience?
Yeah,
Sounds this is
this
what you
is what I,
feel, right? Yeah, what
yes,
you see.
yes.
Yes. You're seeing it never is a destination, right? So it deepens forevermore.
Mhm.
That's and in what you just said with there are some habitual patterns or maybe difficult moments in life. Things come up. We see.
Contexts, various contexts. For
Yeah.
example, if I would see my ex, maybe there would be some old tracks, or I don't know, colleagues. I have seen colleagues the other day that I didn't see for a long time. So I found myself a little bit, in the same type of mood or reactivity, and then thanks to open intelligence to see a short moment, yeah, this could get cleared and dissolved, and yeah, kind of purification in a way, I would say.
Yes, and also seeing that maybe this kind of mood and this kinds of expression of open intelligence, purification meaning seeing it as the energy of open
Yes.
intelligence, right? It's
Yeah.
perfect. We might have that forever, this kind of display when we meet, there's no cause and effect and still there's circumstantial data. So that might be, but the shine of open intelligence, like you say, it warms up everything.
Yeah.
Right? That's your experience is not like it purifies or warms it, makes it as it is.
Yeah.
Already is so, but yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, but thank you for sharing that, Talia. Yeah. Oh, the time we have more calls, but is your name John? Right, John? Yes.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
can
if you're pressed for time, I just wanted to show my appreciation and
Oh, okay.
I and share. The comments were great. Charles' opening was wonderful, and it was aligned with what I wanted to share. But I figured, I love to hear people sharing and stuff. And Robert's comments and Paul's and Natalie's, Joel's as well. But yeah, if I could, real quick, share the most wonderful email I've received. Let's just say in the world this moment. Hello, Giannis Nicholas. The short moments practice is described as simple and genuinely is. Open intelligence is already present right now as what's looking. It doesn't need to be created, developed, or cultivated. There's nothing to build and nowhere to arrive. We just recognize what is already here briefly and let that recognition deepen over time. Simple. And yet, for most of us, it doesn't feel that way. There's something in us that appears to resist resting before we have sorted ourselves out, before anxiety has settled, before the difficult relationship has resolved, before we feel ready. The sense that full rest, genuine ease, is something we need to earn first by doing enough to work on ourselves. This is not a personal failing. It is decades of learning from family, school, society. From early on, we learned that things take effort, that improvement requires work, that we need to fix what's wrong before we can relax. This belief runs deep through upbringing, culture, and often through years of spiritual seeking, where the game, however refined, was still the same. Get yourself into a better state first, then you can finally rest. The short moment turns this completely around. We are not building open intelligence, we are recognizing it. And recognition doesn't require right conditions. It doesn't require the difficult thoughts to have settled first, or emotions to have calmed, or life to have become simpler. Open intelligence is equally present in the middle of anxiety as it is in the calm moment after. The habit of waiting for better conditions before we rest is exactly what keeps us from finding the rest that is already here. That is why Rinpoche describes the practice as simple but not necessarily easy. Simplicity is real. The difficulty is also real in our experience, not because open intelligence is hard to find, but because the integrated momentum in the other direction is strong. And it takes repeated short moments again and again for that momentum to naturally ease, like a fan that keeps spinning for a bit even after we've turned it off. One short moment at a time, we become more familiar with the recognition.
Well, that was nice. Thank you. Thank you, John. I've never heard those read out loud. I kind of like read it out loud as it's being written, but I've never heard somebody else's voice with it. That's very fitting.